Hello, my family community. Well, it is prepping on the homestead. Come with me into the kitchen and let's see what we're up to. Hello, everyone. So have you ever come to a point where you can find cheese that's pretty reasonable and you want to get it by the blocks? These came down a little over $1. So at this point I took advantage of it and brought them home. What I'm going to do the old-fashioned way is we're going to grate all of this cheese. I've got 2 pounds worth, and then I'm going to freeze it. Yes, you can freeze cheese. Yes, it works, especially if you're doing it for like lasagna, or I would use it for my eggplant parmesan, our homemade pizza. This is a good way to take cheese when you find a deal and be able to have it in my freezer. And like I had stated before, we're learning to do things month by month. So with that, I'm going to look for every special I can get and utilize it. So let's go to old-fashioned hand grating and let's grate some cheese. Okay, yeah, so I don't have any fancy graters. I have to do it this way. So I'm just going to take 2 pounds of my cheese and then I'm going to divide them up, label it in my bags, and we're going to use pint-size bags, or, well, no, wait, these are quart size. So we're going to use quart-size bags to put our cheese into. I'm basically going to do it for portion sizes to what I think would work for our meals. So I've got 2 pounds of cheese. When I get back, I'll show you how much of this that we got out of it. And we'll move on to the next thing because we've got breakfast stuff I've got to do next, actually. And I went and made extras on purpose, some biscuits. So we are actually going to make, I mean, you could buy them frozen at the store, the sausage biscuits and stuff. So I'm actually going to pre-make these, refreeze this, and then pop them in the microwave or whatever when hubby has to go to work. Easy peasy, and he's on his way. So, and then which I've already did the recipe for that. We're going to do some more breakfast burritos because we've got enough eggs to start doing this ahead of time again. Plus it gives him multi-different breakfast, so he's not eating the same thing over and over. So I'll have maybe 2 weeks worth, and he can pick and choose what he wants. So once I get all this grated, we'll be back. Okay, y'all, so I do it like this because I could just, like everybody else, I can buy a great big bag of already pre-shredded cheese and be done with it, but I don't like the extra preservatives on it, so I'd rather grate my own. So what did I get out of those two? Well, I think it was like 4 pounds altogether. I still got 4 pounds of cheese, but it's all broke up in packs. Now, for the month as I cook, I made it simplified, so I took 1 day and I do all my work. So that meant sitting here grating all of this cheese, which took maybe 15-20 minutes at the most. I grated all this cheese, so now when I go to cook throughout the month, all I do is go to my freezer, grab a bag, fix it up, and I'm ready to go. Simplified my life, work 1 time in the month, and that's it. So these are just ways that we are simplifying ourselves on the homestead. I'm hoping these are helping anybody along the way, and by just sharing what I'm doing, I'm learning to Acres Homestead, and I've seen a couple others who do prep meals. It's making a lot of sense, and I'm understanding why they do that. It simplifies their life, and I'm catching on. So that's what we're doing on our homestead. Alright, y'all, what's next is straining off our chicken broth, and then that's got to go in the refrigerator until tomorrow, where the fat cap can come to the top. I skim it off, and this way I can turn around and can it. So that's what we're doing next. Alright, so how do I do this? I use an old tea towel. I have a strainer underneath my stock pot. I put my strainer on top, put my tea towel on top of that. Then I will take my broth from here, and we are going to take our broth a little at a time, run it through our tea towel to make sure we get nothing but the purest of bone broth, and that's what we will be canning. While the other parts of it that I might have missed, like just particles of meat or whatever, this will be on the top. So I'm going to go ahead and finish this off. This is a great big stock of it, and we will let you know. Last time I usually get about 1.5 stock pots of this soup pot of broth, which gives me quite a bit of pints to can, which we absolutely needed. Like I said, we're down to two or three jars left, and that's it. And that's pints, and then we got 1 quart. We went through a lot of broth. So I'm gonna go ahead and finish this off, y'all, and then once I get this done, I will let you know. We'll put this up in the fridge and then move on to prepping for our breakfast next. We're gonna try and get everything that we can get done. That way I can spend the rest of the week canning. Alright, y'all, so I'm not complaining. I got 1 good stock pot full of broth. This is going to give me at least 8 pints. Hopefully a little more than that, but at least anywhere from 5 to 8 pints of chicken broth. Everything we can do, we need to do. So I don't care small or big. We are just doing it. Now we're going to pop this in the fridge, let this sit overnight. Going to clean up the kitchen and move on to our next project. Okay, so one of the biscuits we're going to do is he likes his sausage, egg, and cheese. And then the other one we're going to do is fried bologna, egg, and cheese. I am going to be actually taking and scrambling up my eggs, and then I'm going to put it in this pan where I can pretty much kind of cut them out for each biscuit. I'm going to do 5 of each kind. Starting with the fried bologna first. I'm going to take some bologna pieces after I get this done, fry it up, break them up so they can fit onto the biscuit, add some cheese, add the egg, make sure to cool down enough, and then we're going to wrap them and freeze them for a quick to-go meal. So, and I am using homemade ghee for our fat base. He likes his fried bologna. I don't eat it, so I'm not going to argue with him. He does work, so some things I give that man credit. For the most part, y'all, he does eat very, very healthy. So if he wants this occasionally, I'm not going to deprive him. I mean, the man does like some of his food, so, and I'm not such a strict person. I share a lot on videos with you about the Mediterranean food, and for the most part, I am doing a lot of it, but we're not so strict that we can't say you can't eat this or that either. I mean, y'all eat what you like too. We just try to keep it, and I told you, I keep it about 80% healthier than we used to. This is the other percentages where sometimes it's not so healthy. So, alright, now I'm going to let this get hot. And we're going to go ahead and pour our scrambled eggs on here. And I'm not going to actually scramble them. I'm just going to make a nice piece where I can cut it down into sections so that I can put them to make them fit on these rolls here. And then I'm going to get another pan and fry up our fried bologna. And he is using a beef bologna. We don't use any of the pork. Alright, so this is going to take a little bit. We'll be right back. Alright, y'all, we have our biscuits all lined up. These were fresh milled biscuits that I had made extras, and we stuck them in the freezer. And this is why I'm glad I did not have to go baking anymore. I had this already ready to make his breakfast. So this turned out super cool. I'm going to make sure I have enough egg ratio to each one compared to these others. And I have some left over for other biscuits. Go one more on this one too. There we go. Some of these wound up thicker than the others, so now I'm going to fry up my bologna here, and then we're going to put pieces of cheese on each one. Let this cool off. We're going to wrap it in parchment paper, put them in a bag, label it, freeze it. Now for the cheese, while each piece of that bologna sits there and fries up, we're going to dress these others just like so. Just fit them to where I can get each piece to fit on each biscuit. And then we'll put his bologna on top. And this will be ready to go for breakfast in the morning. At least, like I said, I'm working these up for maybe 2 to 3 weeks where he can interchange and not have the same thing over and over. I have done that to him where it was the same thing, and he was kind enough to let me know he likes a variety, which is true. I mean, even I do. I don't like a certain type of meat in my freezer constantly either, so I have to have a changeover. So that's what we're doing with him right now too. Like I said, we're going to have bologna, egg, and cheese, sausage, egg, and cheese, and then we're going to have sausage, egg, and cheese breakfast burritos. I would put potatoes in there for him, but he can eat potatoes, but in a very small amount. So I just rather save those potatoes for like when we have, sometimes we have what's called a fondue. It's a buffet style in a fondue pot with oil, and we just sit throughout the night and just cook our own meat, onions, herb potatoes, and stuff like that. So I'd rather save the time where he can eat that stuff then and not have to worry about it, you know, in the morning time. So either way, he gets either a biscuit or he can get a tortilla as far as bacon, egg, and cheese goes. And then I'm going to add some salsa to that one, make it more of a Mexican style. So let me finish off this bologna, and then we're going to go to the sausage ones. Alright, y'all, so the bologna has been fried up, so we lay each piece on top of each biscuit here. Alright, that's it. Now these are done. All I do now is go through, top them all, set these aside, and then we'll wrap these and we will put these in the freezer. Okay, y'all, so I'm really going to tell my age, because half the time, believe it or not, I don't know how to spell bologna. There's only one way I know how to do this. Many of you are going to relate to me. This is crazy, but this is the only way I know how to. B-O-L-O-G-N-A. My bologna has a first name. Bologna, egg, and cheese biscuits. Now we're going to label these. We're going to wrap this up, and we get this settled. Then we're going to take each biscuit now, and I'm just going to wrap these up. And then what's nice is when I heat them up, he can also be sent with the wrapping to go with it. Let's try this a different way here. same time, I'm over here boiling up the last of the quail eggs as well, because I'm going to take and pickle those in a beet brine. It's a bittersweet situation, but I'm not getting into quails no more. This one kind of broke me. As much as I love the benefits to quail eggs, they're just not worth what I was going through this round. So I told my husband next time I say I want some to remind me of this whole situation we just went through. Alright, y'all. Now there's that week's worth. This is cool. I'm going to have 3 weeks in the month to be able to have breakfast for my husband. Y'all, this is a game changer. I will not have to worry about getting up first thing in the morning, not having enough time to make him breakfast. This is so quick and easy. Taking the time to do it one time, heat, and send him on his way. This is so cool. There's one. Now we're going to do the sausage, egg, and cheese biscuits next. Okay, y'all, so now we have the sausage, egg, and cheese. Look at that. That looks so good. No McDonald's for him. So now I just sit here and wrap these up. And again, just like the other ones, we wrap them up in the plastic, take out what we need, and into the freezer, into the microwave, and on his way. This saves us a lot of money from him having to go out to eat when, truthfully, it's not healthy for him at all. This way, it's home milled bread. It's safer for him. I just had to take time to do this and be able to have breakfast. And honestly, if I want one of these, I can as well. I may just have to later on in the month make a little extra, which is okay. I can do that. I mean, we're going to have 3 weeks worth of breakfast stuff. That leaves me 1 week. I'm going to have to make up anyways, so this way it saves us a lot of money. We don't ever have to eat at McDonald's, Hardee's, or anything like that. We're using our farm fresh eggs. We're using actually a much better sausage from Aldi's because it doesn't have all the nitrate sugars in this. So this is even better for him as well. Now we have it. Another set of breakfast checked off the list. Ready to go in the freezer. And on to the breakfast burritos. Y'all, I'm loving this. It's kind of a rainy day anyways, so I have nothing better to do than to do this besides do my farm work. But other than that, there's no excuse why not I don't have time or whatever to do this. Alright, y'all. Now we have our breakfast burritos. Now, although this isn't Burger King, hubby will be able to have his choice on what he wants each day for the next 3 weeks. So he'll have choices. And see, what's nice is I went and pre-made these. So one day during the next 4 weeks, I can restock on the biscuits that were all used up now. I can restock on the tortillas that are fixing to get used up. And we start this all over again. I just like the fact that I have the option of doing everything homemade, a lot easier, a lot cheaper, and better flavor. And we can fix this any way we want. I would like to try to make him some Mediterranean breakfast though, which I will be looking up where he can go get breakfast on the go at that point. Alright, so now I'm going to go ahead and roll these up. Yeah, I need to re-roll this again. So once I get this, we will be back and then we will be ready to put these in the freezer. Alright, y'all, so we are now filling these up. And I did find out all I had was 4 tortillas. So, but that's enough for 4 days. We do have, I do have time where I can remake some more. So we've still got plenty of time to do this, and he's still got a plenty of variety I have one small one, but honestly, that's not going to be enough. I got to make some small tortillas anyways for miniature tacos, like street tacos. So I'm going to go ahead and just do that. I've also had to use up his favorite cheese, which I really don't like, but I don't tell him what he can and can't have at this point to a certain extent. And his processed cheese, he loves it. So now I'm going to go ahead and wrap these up. Then he will have this for breakfast. We're on a roll here, y'all. And now I have just about 3 weeks shy, 1 day of breakfast for him. So, y'all, I think we did really good. Now I'm going to go ahead and get a bag, label this for breakfast burritos. And that would conclude prepping for breakfast. Our mojo pork is coming along really nicely. It's almost done, actually. So we got salsa, egg, and sausage with cheese, burrito. And that's it. Now we wrap these up in here, and this, like the biscuits, go into the freezer. And then all I have to do is just pick one out, put it in the microwave, and again, send them on his way, all wrapped up. I tested this method. This helps me in 2 ways. It makes it easier for me not to have to rush when he wants to get out the door and don't have time, quote unquote, to eat. I'm already reheating it while he's getting dressed. And then at the same time, I get to give him a variety and use up the overstock of our eggs along with pasta. Now I have leftover filling, so that means I'm going to freeze this for the next round of burritos that we do. That way we have some more done. So I'm going to get this in the freezer, wrap this up, and then we'll move on to something else. Okay, so right now to recap what we had done. We used up a dozen eggs that was in our overstock with our chickens. We ended up clearing out our freezer by 2 rolls of sausage and making them into breakfast things. Now yes, I just packed my freezer, but this is for a month, y'all. So toward the end of the month, I used up all of our biscuits, so now we have to turn around and make some more. I used up 95% of all of our tortillas, which means now I can make taco tortillas instead of burrito tortillas. So what I'm doing is recycling. I use the old and then replace with new much later during the month. And see, I have time to do that because I'm doing everything at the beginning of the month where I don't have to worry about it. I can choose what day I want, relax, and be able to not rush because, oh my gosh, you know, he needs a breakfast and I need to get this done within this week. I have done that, and I'm learning to manage my time. I'm learning to manage my homestead, and I'm learning to work at it 1 month at a time. It has gotten to the point, like I said, everything is getting expensive. The way we have this place set up now, I'm going to learn to use it properly, and this is part of it. I need to take that stress off of me. This is how I'm doing it. So I'm being wise. Get all my work done the first week in the beginning of the month, and I won't have to worry about it the rest of the month. I may find some time to be able to finish my mat for my crocheting for my canning thing. I may find time to be able to work, but maybe something else out on the growing for the homestead, instead of just doing the same routine over and over, because that to me is just getting too much. So that would basically at this point conclude being ahead of time on breakfast, how I prepared this meal. My mojo pork is just about done, and I am going to end this video while I get ready for getting outside and working on the farm, coming back in, and then preparing, because more than likely, the way this thing is smelling, we're going to have Cubano sandwiches. Now, I will say that when I do go to make those this evening, I probably will do a video for you to show you how to make a Cubano using the panini grill press. So, I love you all dearly. I'm hoping these are maybe helping you, and if not, you're starting to see how we are getting more organized on this homestead, de-stressing in our life. So, I love you all dearly, and until next time, much love from Parton's Heritage Homestead.